Having written an account of my secession from the Bierton Strict and Particular Baptist Church in my book, The Bierton Crisis 1984, I have republished a full account of this matter in Let Christian Men Be Men, 2nd edition, which includes my complaint against the Association of Grace Baptist Churches Limited, who took over the affairs of the Bierton Church property and sold our chapel in 2006. After my secession, I remained a member of the Bierton Church, as my membership was not terminated by the church, as our strict traditional church rules state clearly that only the church can terminate one's membership. The church never did terminate my membership because they wanted me to return. My secession was due to the church's failure to preserve and teach the doctrines of particular redemption, as clearly set out in our trust deed. And so my withdrawal was lawful and according to right principles, as is clearly told in the publication The Bierton Crisis 1984 and Let Christian Men Be Men. In December 2002, the chapel was closed for worship, as most of its church members had died, and it was my right as a church member to take on the responsibility of our chapel and elect trustees, as our former trustees wished to resign. This did not happen, and the Association of Grace Baptist Churches acted unlawfully by refusing to give me a copy of the memorandum of election and appointment of them being the new trustees of our chapel on my return from Christian mission work in the Philippines in 2003. This account demonstrates clearly that the Association of Grace Baptist Churches Limited acted unlawfully, and that the memorandum of the choice and appointment of new trustees submitted to the Land Registry on the 5th of February 2003 by the Association was unlawful, as they had not been elected as trustees by the Church. This is clearly set down in our Bierton Trust Deed of 1831. The Association of Grace Baptist Churches are not the lawful trustees of the Bierton Chapel. The Bierton Chapel was closed for worship on the 22nd of December 2002, whilst I, David Clark, was on Christian mission work in the Philippines. Upon my return from mission work in 2003, the Association of Grace Baptist Churches Limited denied my membership of the Bierton Church, refused permission for me to use our chapel, and offered to sell our chapel to me for £150,000. This was wrong. After which they proceeded to sell our chapel in 2006 as a domestic dwelling. My ministry as the sole remaining member of the Bierton Strict and Particular Baptist Churches continues to this day, at home in the UK and abroad in the Philippines, and now in Pakistan. This history of Bierton Strict and Particular Baptist outlines my case against the Association of Grace Baptist Churches, with a request that they put the matters right to correct their mistake and provide a solution to the problem, as the assets of the Bierton Church are needed for me to continue my ministry as a sent minister and member of the Bierton Strict and Particular Baptist Church. A meeting with the Board of Trustees of the Association to discuss a solution would be advantageous to us all.